And we are live with Beijing Rodgers from the Bahamas. And she's a life coach. I want you to say hi to the world, Beijing.
Hello, world. It is so amazing to be here for you guys,
Yes.
to serve you guys in however way that looks, whether that's entertainment or education or both.
Yes. So what we're going to do is talk about food first, food in the Caribbean first, and then we're going to get into what you do.
Sounds
Okay.
like a plan.
Okay. So obviously we know you're from the Bahamas, but what other Caribbean islands have you been to?
Yeah, great question. So I've been to St. Vincent. I've been to Grenada, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica.
Wow.
I think that's it.
All right. So
Yeah,
what was
they
that
were-
for? Was that for fun or was that for work?
Yeah, so all of them except for the Dominican Republic and Jamaica were for missionary purposes. So just to help the local church and build some schools, do a clinic, be there for the children and do some vacation Bible school for them, community work, just beautiful, amazing stuff.
It
And then
sounds like,
Jamaica, thank you. And Jamaica and Dominican Republic were more so vacation.
yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
And how was Jamaica? How did you find it for the
So
vacation?
the last time I visited, well, the first and only time I visited was when I was a child. So I don't really remember that trip. So it's time that I go back to Jamaica where I will remember. So when that happens, hit me up.
Right. I hear you. I hear you. And where would you like to go? What islands haven't you been to and you've got an eye on?
Yeah, I want to go to the ABCs. So Aruba. I don't know what the B and C is, but the Barbados and Cayman, Curacao, yeah. So I want to visit them, the southern part of the Caribbean. It's much further from the Bahamas because the Bahamas is like at the beginning
you're
of
north of,
the
yeah.
chain. So yeah, I've heard great things. And I always am interested to know how it differs from the Bahamas, each Caribbean island, because, all of us have that aquamarine water, but obviously ours is the best. And, all of us are, tourism based. But the difference is in the Bahamas, we don't have mountains, and I love mountains. So I know that other Caribbean nations has mountains, and so that excites me. Because there's so much you can do in the mountains adventure wise, because I love adventures and going on adventures, experiencing new things in nature, so we're kind of limited here in the Bahamas. We do have the most beautiful waters in the entire world, but no mountains, and I love my mountains.
What's your two favorite beaches out there?
In the Bahamas, we're gonna go with so not so much beaches in Nassau. I'm just going to expand.
Yeah, the Bahamas.
Mind. Yeah. So for those who are listening, the Bahamas is an island nation. So we're an archipelago. So we have hundreds and thousands of islands and keys within the Bahamas. But Nassau is the city. New Providence is the name of the island. So as to say all of that, I'm going to share where my favorite beaches are in one of the other family islands in the Bahamas, right? So one is Exuma. Everyone knows Exuma for the swimming pigs. But I have been to some of the most beautiful beaches in Exuma. And there's sandbanks, a lot of sandbanks in Exuma as well, which for those listening who aren't island person, sandbanks are this beautiful creation by God where right in the middle of the ocean is sand and everything else around it is the ocean. So it's like a beach island, basically like a sand island to help you understand. And it is just incredible that is even a thing, man. So yeah, so that's Exuma. The second one, I would have to say Eleuthera, because we have pink sand. And I have traveled to at least 30 countries around the world. and I've never seen pink sand anywhere. I've seen black sand. But I haven't
Okay.
seen pink. And our beautiful Eleuthera has it. So that's always cool.
Wow. And it sounds like because you've got so many different islands,
Yeah,
you've got so many different beaches to pick from, and probably such a variety of different beaches as well.
this is true. This
Yeah.
is Yep.
Wow. Well, so okay, so food
Yes.
out there. Where do you, when you're feeling peckish, what's the closest place to you that you like to go to and get something to eat?
Ah,
Caribbean food.
great question. So it's not so much closest.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, it is kind of close to where I live, but it's just really good. It hits some spots. It's like
All
really
right.
good, but it's also pretty close to where I live. So it's called tropical gyro. So like a gyro, like a Greek gyro. So gyro, gyro, whoever you are out there
Right.
listening. But it's the company's called Tropical Gyro, and they have like this amazing chicken gyro, tropical sauces and like fruits in there, and it's just the best.
All right. But would you class that as Caribbean though?
Oh no, it's not Caribbean. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Hit me with Caribbean.
Oh, okay. Definitely pepper and spice. Pepper and
Right.
spice from it's a Jamaican company. I know the man personally. He goes to my church, and their curry chicken is out of this world with some good coleslaw. Get that sweetness with the rice, and then that pepper curry chicken. Beautiful. And
All right.
it's like so good. Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's the same pepper and spice from London, because they have a couple branches in London. And
No, it's not the same. Yeah.
right.
It's not the same. No, 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 no. There's a whole, yeah, it's different. It's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how about going a little bit outside? One of the other islands on the Bahamas that you might have been to and tasted some Caribbean food?
So mostly on the other like family islands, there isn't much variety in food choices. It's usually just almost always Bahamian places, which for us is fine because
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That's what I want to hear.
yeah, I speak for all Bahamians. We love our food. And yes, I've been to like 30 plus countries, but I still stand here and say that Bahamian food for me, number one. Number one.
So what would be like a typical Bahamian dish?
Yeah, so there's a lot, but a typical one when families gather would be peas and rice, coleslaw, macaroni, plantain, and like snapper
Right.
or grouper or crawfish or all. If you can, all. But that is like a typical Bahamian dish.
And the fish would normally be steamed or
Fried. So the snapper would be fried.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. The grouper would be grilled. The crawfish would obviously be like boiled. But yeah, it's but the beautiful thing about it is, so we have this this shell called conch. Conch, it's called
Right.
conch shell.
Yeah.
Non-Caribbean people would pronounce it as conch, but
Right.
it's conch. Okay, and we love our conch. And for me, conch is my favorite food in the entire world. And you can eat that in almost any way, shape, or form. So there's conch salad, there's stew conch, there's conch chowder, there's conch fritters, there's crack conch, ding, 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 my favorite, crack conch. And probably there's conch and rice. So you can have conch in any way you want it. You just say how you want, what you like, and then we'll just dip it in there. But we love our conch. And it's actually like on our coat of arms. So
Really? Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never actually had it before, and it's something on my list. I was meant to actually try it in the show that we was filming in Trinidad, but because of COVID, we had to stop the show, so I didn't get a chance to try it. But it is on my list.
Good.
I
Good.
will try it.
I'd love to hear what you think about it. But it's so different, and many, especially foreigners who come in, it's exotic food for them, which makes me feel cool because I'm not exotic eater at all. Like, I stick to what I like and that's it. If it looks bad, Beijing's not eating it. But for me, I feel so cool because, conch is considered exotic, but for me, that's ABCs 1, 2, 3. I grew up on this stuff. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, how do you see this? No, just put it in your mouth, chew it, but a little bit more because it's kind of chewy, like that chewy gum, rubbery.
Right. So what is it? Anything like octopus or?
It's the same family. In terms of texture, I'd say yes. But I would say it's not as, well, I guess it just depends on how it's cooked, because I would say it's not as tender. But for people to understand, it's that texture, that chewy texture.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. All right. So what would you say is the national dish for the Bahamas? I know you gave us that list earlier of what a typical dish might be, but what would be the national dish?
Yeah, national. I wouldn't say we have a national dish. I just think the typical dish,
right, or the most popular,
out as the national dish, just because all households who like cook this,
right,
and like we just all cook it, and so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of, and I'd say like for every meal, there's certain typical dishes for that. So, for example, for breakfast, you've got your dishes right there. And if you want typical Bahamian breakfast, boom, that's it. That's your breakfast. So that'd be like boiled fish, souse with Johnny bread or Johnny cake.
Johnny bread. That's a brand.
No, it's the name of the bread. That's how we call it, Johnny bread. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And how does that differ from other bread? Is it?
Pardon?
Is it just normal bread?
No.
Why is it called Johnny?
No, you have to make it. You have to make it. It's not bread that you get from. No. You have to like make it from scratch. Yeah. And then you dip it. You would dip it in the soup contents. Yeah. But then also my favorite breakfast is tuna grits and corned beef. So I'm pretty sure many people know grits, right. Yellow grits. We eat yellow grits. And then tuna, like tuna from the can, but we spice it up and pepper it up with some vegetables and some lemon and just make it really nice and juicy. And then sometimes you would have corned beef or sausages. Sausages is how we would say sausages. So yeah, but I don't like the sausages. So I just put grits, tuna, and corned beef. And to me, boy, like that is my favorite breakfast of all time. Okay. And then the lunch and dinner would be what I already explained before. Usually, okay, so for example, if you would go to a big typical Bahamian restaurant and you order like the meat, right? So whether that's fish or just whatever meat, fish, conch, whatever. The sides are all the same, like across the board of what you can choose from. And that is always peas and rice, macaroni, coleslaw, or plantain. And then sometimes, they have vegetables, obviously, but those are like the main sauce right there. And so you always know that those are always going to be the sides when you ask, what are the sides? And so you always have to choose between, the 4 or 5 of them. So yeah, and then we also cook that at home. So it's a home meal as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I want you to give me, I know you mentioned pepper and spice earlier.
Yeah.
But I want you to give me 2 more places that you might go to out there to try some food. 2 other places to recommend to the viewers.
Okay. So yeah, pepper and spice, definitely. Fish fry. Okay. So fish fry is the name of the area.
Oh, right. I thought that was a dish.
Yeah, no. It's the name of the area.
Right.
To where you have many stalls of Bahamian food restaurants. And if like any tourists or foreigner or whatever comes to the Bahamas, you want to take them there to get authentic Bahamian food and like, you know, introduction to see Bahamians doing their thing, whatever. Also, so yeah, but in there, I personally love O'Andress, Gone Fishing, and Twin Brothers. So those are my three favorites in the fish fry. Gone Fishing, just a bit more because it's like right on the beach. And that's just beautiful. So yeah, I mean, because like all of it is kind of like on the water, but there's like another section where you just cross the street is on the beach kind of. So you just kind of get closer to the beach. So that's fish fry. And then another one. So I'm going to take you to Bimini, which is one of our other islands. That where I mentioned, that's Nassau. So I recently went to Bimini for the first time in November or October, and it was amazing. Like, had so much fun. Bimini is kind of like the island where many foreigners go to because it's so close to the US of A. Very small. Like, you can circle that island in one day. Not even a day, like very small. But, you know, you have all those stops along the way. Also, oh my goodness, Bimini has a beautiful beach called on Junkanoo Beach. Beautiful. I mean, and we saw a shark. So that was super cool too. When we're eating in their area, I think it's also called fish fry too. I think they call their like eating area with all the Bahamian stalls fish fry too. But anyways, excellent food there. But there's a place that I wanted to mention. I totally forgot the name, but they sell rum punch and Kong salad. And we had amazing Kong, boy, I forget the name, but they had amazing Kong salad on the ocean, like it's like a stilts on the water. So beautiful. We're there for the sunset, saw the sunset. And then a lady there branded her rum punch. I don't know if rum punch is like a Caribbean thing all throughout, but for Bahamians,
we got rum punch over.
Yeah, exactly. But she branded it, and it is the best rum punch I've ever tasted in my life. Like, that was excellent. I wish I knew the name, but
don't worry. Just send me the name afterwards, and I'll put it up, and I'll put the pictures up.
I had to find it. But yeah, and there is a great spot.
Okay, but
I like food with views. That's my thing.
Lovely. Yes. So you've been to a few other islands as well, probably other continents as well. Any Caribbean food experiences outside of the Bahamas that you can recommend or remember?
Yeah, so most of the Caribbean islands that I went to, I was much younger, except for the DR. But when we went to the DR, we were like super touristy in that respect. So didn't really go for Caribbean. Because for me, sorry for the other islands, like my favorite is Bahamian. And Bahamian food isn't well spread like Trini or Jamaican, you know what I mean? Or Haitian or, you know what I mean? So it's like I never look for that when I travel. Like, I already know they don't have Bahamian, so then I go to my second, third, and fourth options would be like Thai, Mexican, Italian, like, you know, so, you know, these questions, you know, different. But I went to London, and I think oh no, that was Indian. I was going to say, that was Indian. I was like, we got curry, but it's different. So yeah, no, that was Indian. Yeah, sorry about that one.
No scene. All right. Well, so now we're going to talk about what you do.
Oh, boring.
No, it's wonderful. It really is wonderful. But first, I just want to mention your name, Beijing. I really do love it.
Thank you.
Fantastic sounding name. Thank you.
Thank
you. Lovely. So yes, what you do, a life coach.
Yeah.
So to us, would that be helping people improve their current position, or is that also helping people with problems like depression?
Actually, very good question, because a lot of people misunderstand that. So yes, one of the things that I'm a certified life coach, I'm a humanitarian, and I'm a venture guru. But in regards to life coaching, my preferred, target audience is teens and young people, because that's like young professionals, because that's where my heart's at. And that's where there's like a lot of dizziness in terms of who am I? What do I want? What was I created for? And so a life coach would then take their approach of helping them answer those questions through a self-empowering journey. So the misconceptions, two of them is the one that you just mentioned. Life coaches deal with the present and help them toward their future. We do not deal with the past. That is therapy. And we also, in the misconception, we don't give advice, because the beautiful thing about life coaching is, again, it's a self-exploratory journey process. We help you find the answers that are already within, because they are within. So we use different tools, we use different tools and questions to help you get it from within. And I tell you, like, just after one session as a life coach, you just feel so rewarded for yourself. Obviously your client does, but you feel so rewarded because you just helped that person find already what was in them. There's nothing you said. There is nothing, advice that we were given, because then that's called a consultant. And so that's how we differ between consulting, therapists, and life coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're focusing more on the present, or when I say their job opportunities as well, their career opportunities?
Yeah, it's a good question. So what I mean by the present is anything that they're stuck on, that they have blockage in, that they can't move forward on, any problem, any goal, anything, we can help them on. So yeah, if that is jobs, okay, cool. We'll help you on that. In terms of your question with depression, no, you would need a licensed therapist to deal with that. But life coaching is more of, how do you be better? How do you get unstuck? How do I reach my dreams? How do I achieve my goals? How do I improve this area of my life? How do I receive my desired outcome? It's how do I improve my relationships? Like any area of your life, like we're there to help you move forward to become the better you that you were created.
What sort of percentage would you say your clientele would be? Would it be mostly males or mostly females?
Mostly females, yeah. Mostly females. I think, and this is just what I think, there's no like research regarding this, but, and you could, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think women are just a bit more vulnerable to, let it go and be like, I can't do it. I can't do this on my own. I need help. And so they're not afraid to seek out help. A man is more so wired in the sense of, I have to have it all together. And it will be my last straw to then pay somebody to help me get back on track. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how we're wired in a sense. But for me, whoever you are, male or female, if you're, because a certain person would receive a life coach, and that type of certain person is someone who wants to get ahead. Who wants to get ahead and is done with the mediocrity of the day-to-day life. And, they want to get ahead. They want to become the best they can be. They want to better in areas that have been deficient for so long. Relationships, money, finances, job, career, children, goals, whatever it is, right? And so that is the type of person, because we decline clients because some people just aren't eligible for life coaches. You know what I mean? And so you have to be a certain person where you're like, I'll put in the work, because in anything we do, it'll only work if we do. Like there's no magic nothing, right? So, and that takes a certain mentality, that takes a certain focus, that takes a certain discipline, that takes a certain sacrifice, you know what I mean? And it's those people in the end that'll just continue to succeed. And that's why people keep seeing the same people succeeding, because then they keep finding more and more ways to succeed. And whatever success looks to them, because it's different for everyone. But that's my little 2 cents on that.
Though it really does sound interesting. And you was also speaking about you're an adventurer as well. You
Yeah.
as on your website, or I've seen some lots of tents, lots of beautiful scenery, uh,
Yeah.
and signs about camping overnight as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I've never actually done myself.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah,
So good.
but what scares me the most over here is like I went to a swamp, and as soon as it got like a slightly dark, the mosquitoes came out,
Ah, yeah.
and they were some seriously militarized mosquitoes with all sorts of tracking and armor. And I you know what? I was covered. So
Yeah.
that's what scares me about going out uh,
Yeah.
in the in the open country and that sort of stuff after dark.
Yeah.
There's something they like about my English blood. They would leave the other Trinidadians alone and just come in on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. No, mosquitoes is get you. They
Yeah.
get you.
But tell us about the fun side of camping.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Let's focus on that. So yeah, you're right. I have a adventure tourism company called Island Adventure Experiences, and we do overnight camping experiences on one of the islands very close to Nassau called Rose Island. It's 20 to 30 minutes to get there. Beautiful boat ride because you see other keys and islands on the way getting there. Sometimes you may see a green turtle or two, but it's beautiful.
Do the
And
waters tend
yeah,
to be calm when you're going out to the islands?
pardon?
Do the waters tend to be calm?
Yeah, so we wouldn't go on the water unless unless we're able to
Right.
boat there. Yeah, we'd have to cancel the trip or postpone if the water conditions aren't good because no matter what, we have to practice safety.
Right.
Yeah. So so yeah, and so when we get there, some of the activities include sunset gazing, sunrise gazing, star gazing. We saw shooting star the other night. It was incredible.
Amazing.
We have a bonfire in this like amphitheater, like gladiator pit is what we call it, that came with like the land where we chose to do this, which was amazing. And then our tents are like lined up on like a second story home kind of because it's like on a cliff, and you just like wake up to the beautiful crystal blue waters, and it's basically heaven. And then obviously beaching and snorkeling, we provide that, and we have yoga mats for those who want to do some stretching, and then we have a hike. So we have an intermediate version and beginner version. And but then out of all of those activities, we also have like kayaking as well, but out of all of those activities, everyone's free to do whatever they want. We just always say please participate in the hiking and the bonfire, just because that's really a part of the whole beauty of the experience. And everything is ran on solar, so we're like eco-friendly and sustainable. Yeah. And the whole like campsite we built with our blood, sweat, and tears. So we saw a vision, and I was like, this is what I want. And so we like took a whole weekend to like take out the bushes and cut with a cutlass and like just make it flat land, and then one by one place the stones to make the pathways, which I mostly did. It was a lot, but it was just so beautiful to create something out of nothing, and that to me is like the essence of vision. So yeah, so that's that. Then we also have another adventure called the Nassau Adventure Walking Tour, which is basically a 3-hour tour where we take you to see 15 attractions in the central of Nassau, doing like different activities. And I think it's like super beneficial even for Bahamians because they don't even know what's out there. Like, it is amazing how many times I have this conversation with a Bahamian and they're like, oh, that is a thing? I'm like, are you serious? Come on the walking tour, so, and it's historical as well and cultural. Get some good facts that, again, Bahamians probably don't know, but it was always great for the foreigners. But it's fun. It's great. It's wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're probably used to it now, but for your first time camping overnight, what was it like?
Yeah, with the company, because I've done it like outside of when I started.
Yeah, your first time.
My first time ever, yeah. Oh, when was that? My first time. Great question. See, I wouldn't call it camping.
Overnight.
even though we stayed in tents, like I would say my mission trips that I go on.
Right. Okay.
But I wouldn't call it camping just because, I mean, is it? So,
All right. What's the first time you would call camping?
yeah, it could have been camping, but it's just a whole different process, like a whole different purpose.
Right.
So it's interesting. So I'm going to go with Chile. When I lived in Chile for our church youth group, we would take our youth camping okay, remember I said I love mountains? Like just surrounded by mountains with a beautiful stream and the walks and the stones right there, trees, evergreen, beautiful, green forest, and yeah, and we would camp there. Yeah, and that to me actually I think really sparked this idea to bring it home, and yeah, I'd say, and it was good. It was fine, and because the weather was like colder,
Right.
we
That's
didn't
what I was
have
wondering. Yeah,
problems with
mountains
the
and
insects and the exactly, so we didn't have those problems. So it was pleasant. I'd say it was pleasant. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cool. So in the Bahamas, you don't get those problems like with
Yeah, man. No, well, no, that was in Chile. So Chile is
right.
4 seasons.
Yeah.
But in the Bahamas, yeah, man, mosquitoes
Okay.
kills us. Yeah, especially in the Family Islands. They is their kingdom over there. Yeah, and then on our campsite too. But personally, for me, because I'm always long sleeve, I never really have a problem. But when I know it's bad is when they start attacking me on my ankles, and I have to like start spraying around my ankles. But we also have like those candles, to and
Okay.
whatnot.
But
But
aside from that, as I say, that's the only thing that worries me, those
yeah,
muzzies. But aside from that, it sounds so beautiful,
it is.
Closest thing I've got to that really would have been probably sleeping on the beach,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that sort of thing. But yeah, that sounds wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. It is.
All right. So also a humanitarian as well.
Yeah. So that is a birthright, I would say. I started like missionary work when I was 4, and obviously, and I've done it like every year since then. So obviously, in my former years, I'm thinking, why do these people not? Why do these children, have without? Like, how is that a thing? So that was my first time of realizing what lacking something meant, and then poverty, and that killed me, and I hated that. And so then
That was when you was 4.
well, yeah, my first trip was 4, but then in the former years of like 4, 5, 6, 7, right,
Right.
you see,
Wow.
like as a child you see
Yeah.
less stuff than what you grew up with, like, or why does the food look like this, or why does the kitchen, like, like
Yeah.
those things are going through your mind, and then you go back home and you're like, oh, okay. But it's funny though, this revelation didn't come to me until a few years ago. So, one of the things I do, I always ask God to like reveal things that is a part of my purpose that I don't remember back then, so it can all make sense together when I share it with, humanity. So anyway, so this is one of the things that it's crazy actually. And so then I obviously grew up in a Christian household. And so from like 5 to 8 in Sunday school, you learn about all the like Bible's characters. And my thing from that, like my mind went to like, why don't I see like us doing all that great stuff for God? Like, why am I only like reading about it? Like, why don't I see that like happening? And so it was kind of like, and then at 10, my mom sat my sister and I down. She goes, if you guys can find God's will for your life, then you're living your best life. And I'm just like, at 10, I don't really know what will means, but, I'm just praying. So I forget about praying for food, shelter, all that stuff. I'm just like, God, what is your will? For 2 years straight, I prayed that. At 12 years old, he said, Beijing, I want you to lead the youth. And that's when it began. I started a nonprofit organization led by young people to empower young people to make a difference in their society. It has been a journey, but I would say it is what is why I am the way I am today, is because of the training, the learning, the schooling, the decision making, the leadership that I learned in the process of running an organization for 12 years. And at 24, he told me to stop, which was the hardest decision I ever had to make. But I now know why I had to do that, which is beautiful. And yeah, so my heart for humanitarianism I'd say it started at 4. I even have pictures, looking back at me passing out. I always say my first job was passing out crayons to some of the most impoverished children in the world, and it just kept growing. It kept growing, this sensation of like, I don't like to see this suffering. Why does this suffering even exist? And why does it exist for the youngest in society? And so yeah, it just all came together. And then last year, 2021, I ended up working at the Bahamas Red Cross as the National Youth Development Officer. So I had the opportunity to develop their new youth program, and I actually was able to, what's the word? Accomplish the greatest achievement that I've made in my career in regards to youth activism and humanitarianism. As we all know, Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas. Long story short, I created this initiative called Using Art for Mental Healing to go do these workshops where the youth were affected on those 2 islands, which were completely destroyed, Abaco and Grand Bahama. And we used the artwork to then put into a coffee table book, and then to be sold to the nation and the world. And it would be the only tangible item that the world has from the most devastating hurricane of the 21st century. And it is all from the perspective.
You're going to send me the link for that so I can put it on screen for the viewers, yeah?
Yeah, well, it's not done yet. It's not done. So phase 1 was the workshops.
Right.
Now we're working on phase 2, which is the coffee table book. And phase 3 is the documentary, because we also want to have a documentary of this entire process. Because it's always nice to watch, right? It's always nice to have a visual for people to really understand what the Bahamas went through, what our youngest in our society went through.
But have you got a website for that project?
So I'm no longer working with the Bahamas Red Cross. I'm just volunteering my time to complete this.
Okay.
So I am working. I have my ex-coworkers. We're working together to make it a thing. So as soon as,
it sounds like a beautiful project. Yeah.
Thank you. But what you could do though is log into follow Bahamas Red Cross, and everything will be updated there on Instagram and or Facebook. Bahamas Red Cross. Follow, and they'll start to update there. Yeah.
Okay. And I have just followed you on Instagram. And that's Beijing Rodgers.
Yes.
And I'm going to follow your other pages, which are Coaching with Beijing.
Yes. Yes.
And what I'm asking all the viewers is to do the same.
Thank you, guys.
And if you want to give the people your social media information, that'd be great as well.
Great. Excellent. I'd love to. So if you just want a day in the life of Beijing, what is Beijing all about? Then you can follow my personal account, which is Beijing.Rodgers. If you are more interested in, self-help and wanting more for your life, then I would say you follow my life coaching account, which is Coaching with Beijing. And then if you are just ready to go on an adventure, you just want to see the beautiful Bahamas, and you are in love with the outdoors, and I would say then you follow Island Adventure Experiences. But you can find all of those accounts in my personal Instagram, just in case you forget everything. I'll just not to worry, just Beijing.Rodgers, and you'll see it all.
Okay. And are there any other companies you might want to give a shout out to? Or any sponsors or anything?
This is going to be so funny. So I am an avid squash player, and to the point where probably addicted, not sure. Started it last year, but I love it. And
it is a great game.
Funny. Yeah, it's so funny because I received a National Youth Award last year, and the squash club just kind of congratulated me for that. And they were saying, in your speech, say the Four Walls Down Squash Club sponsored you, or something like that. So, this is just me saying, Four Wall Squash Club, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for me and your sponsorship. That's funny. But yeah, love them, love the team, love the players, love the family. It's like a second family for me. But yeah.
Lovely. I want to thank you so much for your time on the show today. It was wonderful chatting with you, Beijing.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. I appreciate it. I had lots of fun. And I always say this thing where it's not until you talk about something when you get answers from it. And so I've just learned more about myself just from this interview. So thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely to hear. Blessings. You have a wonderful day.
You as
Thank
well, my friends. Thank you so much.